2, 1. All right. Hey, everybody. Hector here, Hardstyle Live. Really cool edition here because we officially have Zar Horton, who is usually hard to find and track down. He's always incognito. Everybody, we got Zar Horton here. It's going to be hanging out with us for the next 30 minutes. Zar's been a firefighter. He's actually the chief battalion for his fire station, over 29 years experience as a firefighter, serving the community. And he actually started his own strength and conditioning business along with some partners now that's been in business almost 10 years. It's called Fire in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he is currently a master instructor with StrongFirst, where he teaches people about strength, about movement, just a wealth of knowledge. Zar, dude, thanks for hanging out with us for this next half hour, man.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, how did all this start? We know that it didn't, overnight became, a veteran in the fire department, master instructor, kettlebell specialist, where did all this start?
Well, I think the turn for me going to kettlebells was I was frustrated with the bodybuilding model that I'd been using previously. I mean, I was very, very into fitness and weightlifting. I had a granddad that was kind of like Jack LaLanne. He was always exercising. And my other granddad was the shot put and discus champion for UNM back in his college days at the University of New Mexico. So he was big into fitness and weightlifting. So I expressed my interest to him, and he got me a bench when I was 11 years old. So I had loved weightlifting for a long time. And so, but I've been using the bodybuilding model for a long time, and got into the fire service and met one of the, he was 7th in the world amateur bodybuilder, and he had a world gym, and he asked me to work there, and I became a personal trainer for him. So I got a lot of knowledge, and it was working well for me for a while when I was young. But as I was getting a little bit older, the shoulders from, just not knowing those precise things that you need to know about movement and loading and connective tissue, injuring myself over and over again. It was getting a little frustrating. And when I was doing fireground exercises, I needed that mobility, and it wasn't there for me. And the only way we were getting stronger back then was to add more muscle. So I was big. You had to be, big to be strong. And so that was getting frustrating. So the change for me came when I met Pablo in 2000. I was also doing a part-time gig for the DOE as a paramedic, and their fitness guy was a guy named Jeff Martone. And we'd sit and bounce fitness stuff off of each other. And we found this book called Bulletproof Abs, and and he did a little research on him. It was this Russian guy. So he just happened to be coming to Albuquerque in the next month, and it was this. He had written, so I was giving classes. There were 2-hour classes. One was called Bulletproof Abs. One was called Power to the People. It was called Relax and to Stretch. So these little 2-hour classes. And so we signed up for them, and they were like $35 each, or you could get the whole day for $75. And so it was Pablo.
Yeah.
So I walk in, and this guy, he's like, in this thick Russian accent, he goes, "Comrades, everything that you know about fitness is wrong." And so there's a decision to be made right there, because I've been doing this stuff my whole life. So, you go either like, what's this guy know? Or I was like, lay it on me, brother. And so furious notes for 6 hours. I was going crazy, losing my mind at the stuff this guy was throwing at us. It was just a complete paradigm shift. But I bought it was making sense, and we were doing these exercises during the class that was just all making sense to me. And I ran back to my gym. I told the guys, I said, I met the guy who's going to change the face of fitness in this country. And I took off my shoes. I started power breathing. I started laying down between sets. They thought I had lost them. And so it was, and I started power breathing also. I was making all these crazy sounds in the gym, and it was a 1-day change. I mean, the next day, but I was getting really good. I was getting really good changes in my clients. And I stuck with the ab stuff, the stretching stuff, and the power to the people stuff, which really the deadlifts, one arm curl, some suitcase lifts, a back squat, and you didn't need much else, and it was working for me. Had some, he befriended Pablo, and Pablo got him into the kettlebell. So I saw him a year later, and he had gone pretty amazingly strong in that year, because Pablo gave him this program and a weight, and now you know what the kettlebell does for your shoulders. So that guy put himself back together, because he was like, I'd see him grapple, and he was a great athlete and a good fighter, but every time he would lock up with some in his gym, for the DOE guy, you get injured and you get out for 6 weeks. He's like super strong. So then I see him, and he's like, "Hey, you gotta try this kettlebell stuff." Shows me the window, shows me the get up, shows me some stuff, but it's with a dumbbell, because we didn't have kettlebell. So he's like, "Man, but you gotta do it with the kettlebell." It's like, you gotta do it with kettlebell. I can't tell you. It's just different. You gotta just do it. So I see him a year later. He's doing these kettlebell. He's doing pull-ups with a kettlebell, 24-kilo kettlebell hooked into his foot, and he's just racking them out. And he's talking to me in conversational tone, and his shoulders were like bull shoulders, man. They were huge, and I was like, his body totally changed, and he was like monster athlete. And so I said, I'm in. So got my first kettlebell and started using it, and was finding Jeff was the first guy to kind of train me on it and he was actually one of Pablo's first seniors, and way back in the day. So it was changing me, and it was getting me healthier, stronger, more mobile in my shoulders. And so I was like, and in those days the Secret Service had adopted it. Government agencies were adopting it, like the Secret Service, and the guys over across the pond that were at war were using it because it was portable. That was a great workout. The special forces were using kettlebell. So I was like thinking, and the law enforcement that, Pablo had started going around teaching law enforcement and special operators kettlebell stuff. So I'm thinking to myself that this is exactly what the fire service needs. So I went to my chief and said, "Chief, I have a thing." I said, "We got to do this. We got to implement this." And I moved to the fire academy at that point in my career, and the chief trusted me enough to change the fitness program for the incoming cadets and for their fire school training. They have a physical fitness program, and he let me change it, and I got to implement. Back then, it was like the functional movements and functional stuff. That word was just coming in vogue, and so I changed it from these long sustained runs and weight room activity. Put them out on the ground. We were dragging hoses. We were doing farmer carries, deadlifts, goblet squats. I got some kettlebells, but let me rewind. I said, "Chief, I gotta be certified." I was training on my own and sparking some interest, but I didn't want to teach anybody without being certified. So the chief, it was amazing, like just a blessing, amazing.
Yeah,
believe it. Sent me and a buddy to go get certified, and we went up, got certified, and came back down. And my deal with the chief was, if I get certified, and just into the fire service, so we could get guys healthy, mobile, give them a new way to train, in a way that you weren't getting sore. Like doing leg day and then having a fire was horrible, or with the isolated bodybuilding model, you're really sore to be effective back in those days. And then having to go fight a fire while you're fatigued and sore was really, you were praying that you didn't have a fire after your leg day. Came back and we just started firefighters in our department. Met a few guys along the way and got to travel and teach some other firefighters across in Connecticut. And we went for a couple of years annually there. My buddy who was making fun of me. Oh, I didn't tell you how much fun they made of me at World Gym when I changed over. So the guy who was making fun of me, the owner, he transferred to Henderson Fire Department, and in that time had started using kettlebells. So we had me and my buddy come out and teach. We got to introduce. That was my goal. My original goal was to get kettlebells into the fire service and get these guys at least with the knowledge, so they can make an impact on their training, because this is something that you could use that's sustainable, doesn't make you sore, gets you stronger, gets your connective tissue stronger, helps you maintain or increase your mobility and flexibility, cardio, strength, and that threshold, that work threshold, increased. The hour you put in kettlebell training, as you know, you get so much out of it. So this was just the thing. I was just like so passionate about getting it to firefighters, to get them healthy for their careers, and then so that they could be healthy afterwards and enjoy their retirement years. So that was my goal. So I got to change it, put it into the cadet program, and then I was teaching guys around the department. So right off the bat, I got to probably teach. We got to teach about 200 guys right off the bat, and so that was cool because got a lot of reps in teaching the basics. So in that year, I got asked to be an assistant, and I went up and I was an assistant. And then a little bit later, I was asked to be a team leader, and that was awesome. And a few years later, I was asked to be a senior. And after that, in 2013, I was promoted to master, and Pablo promoted me to master trainer with the kettlebell. So, and in that's really how it happened in college. It was interesting. And I was teaching people out I didn't have a gym. I had my garage and I had a park. So we were training people. We had some hardcore people. And my buddy he said, hey, I have got a building. If we put down some flooring, we could have a place where you could teach this. I was very reluctant. I just didn't want to get into that whole thing. But I said, well, that flooring is really expensive. Let's meet in a week and talk about it. So in 2 days later, he goes, hey, I got that flooring in. We're ready to go. And so the first Firebells building was a really small office, and full house was like 9 people. And since then, we've gone through. This is our 5th building. We've gotten bigger and bigger, and we have a great following, great community. And somehow that started because a guy asked me to prepare his son for the fire academy. So I put him through, some kettlebell stuff and got him ready. And then somebody asked me to help his wife with a post-surgery shoulder, using all these principles just the first time through Pablo, the strength and relaxation and all the principles of strength for people. And then I just kind of spread them. Suddenly I was taking, private clients like a personal trainer. And I was like, okay, this is weird. But then the school kind of kept growing, and now we have, our demographic is crazy. We have law enforcement, we have fire, we have everyday professionals, we have retirees, we have everybody in here, and all different ages, all different body size, and be part of so many people and life change. And that was the guy who put the flooring in and got this whole thing going.
Nice, dude.
Oh yeah, that's kind of the story I got going with this whole thing.
Nice, man. So essentially, Firebells wasn't even, you weren't trying to get in the fitness community. It was just something to help firefighters be stronger.
Sometimes when I go, I don't even know how this happened. I haven't, my business partners, like Charles Bustos. I'm sure you've seen him on Facebook and stuff. He really drives this place, and he's a lot of the heart and soul behind making this place much bigger than it is. So he believes in it. Since we gave him the keys, man, he's been in here and he works really hard, and so he's one of the main reasons that we're where we're at. So, I really don't know how this happened, but it's cool. I love it. I love teaching on an individual basis on the one-on-ones. But also I love teaching group class. Now we have one of your former guys, Joaquin, in Texas, and joined us, and it was like he just had that thing, and we're like, hey man, let's get you to be an instructor. And we took another guy at our TSC. We just brought him on board. So we have about 15 instructors. We offer about, I think it's 26 26 classes a week, and we have 2 beginner classes, and we have a whole structure for getting people the basics and foundations, and then they can join our group classes, and then we have a couple specialty programs. So it's just grown like crazy. It's really cool. So, but no, not on purpose. So it was not by design.
Yeah. So many questions. I mean, you shared so much great information. So, you showed up that day in 2000 and some guy just rocked your world. Everything you thought you knew about being fit, being strong and flexible. Like, what do you do with it? Like, as a guy, like, as men, we're filled with testosterone. We think we know what we're doing. Right. And have somebody come in and just shake your world. How do you deal with that?
And so, thankfully, I studied some martial arts during my upbringing and my athletic. I did baseball and basketball and ran track and did some of those traditional gymnastics. But I did. My mom put me some throughout the years, and was enough to study with a master at one point. And so, there's many stories that you hear about things, but there's one particular story about being, receptive to training, and not being arrogant, and not, thinking that you know it all. And it was that kind of moment for me. I was like, I mean, the guy, he just started going amazing. And I called him for the long time. I called him the truth of fitness, because he was debunking some other things, and all his stuff was researched and scientifically backed. And this guy's the truth of fitness. And I just knew, when you're hearing the truth, I knew I was hearing the truth. And so I just emptied my cup, pretty much dumped out everything, honestly.
Nice. So So give us like a brief insight, because we've got, for firefighters around the globe, I'm sure, bodybuilding is still the thing. People are still doing a lot of bodybuilding, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But like, as a firefighter, like, what are some important things they should be able to do, or what's like one of the best ways to start training, like, as a professional, as a firefighter? Hopefully that makes sense. Like, what things should they be focusing on to improve their job?
Core stability, work threshold, because firefighting a lot of heavy lifting for long amounts of time that are undetermined. That's the that whole of a tactical athlete is, like football players and basketball players, they have a season, they have an off season, they have a postseason. They know when their games are, and so they can condition and prepare in a structured manner. The tactical athlete, police officers, military, first responders, firefighters, their season 365. They don't know when their game's on. A lot. Fire service. We're in the house overnight, so can go from a dead sleep to having to rock at 100%, and be cognitive and make important decisions and work as a team and do these intricate operations that honestly could be life or death. The tactical athlete has no preseason. There's no warning as to when the game's going to be. So you have to train in a manner that, like I said, when using the bodybuilder model, there's days when you're really sore and you're not going to be as effective, and that's okay if it's just you. But if you have a team relying on you, you're not at your best. If you're the type of, you're not going to be able to be the best for your team, and you may not show up at 100%. So this type of training, I just found, when I changed over to it, I was always fresh, rated after the sessions, and they were short. There was the military style training, that the special forces used that he first introduced. They were short, dynamic, burst type of training that didn't leave you sore, but you got in better shape. You got in better cardio condition. You got better connective tissue strength. You got better mobility. And so over the time, I could do my job, and I could also, I didn't have to worry about, being sore, or having to, plan those days and not pray that I didn't have a fire after leg day and stuff like that. So you're getting stronger, overall, core strength, connective tissue strength, increased mobility, and that type of stuff. So I would say to anyone in the fire service, and I got to actually change the program at the academy to kind of embrace that style of thinking. And so, anybody in those, tactical athlete, any type of job like that, and consider training in a way that doesn't fatigue you, but actually builds you up. To add a bunch of muscle tissue anymore to get stronger. We know this. Right. We can actually get leaner, better quality firing muscle tissue in training, this way. And that was the mind blower for me. It was like he on the spot taught me how to create much more strength with what I had. I didn't have to add any more muscle tissue, but I got much stronger. Actually, some of my size went away. It was just better all the way around.
Nice. So
that's the training I would have firefighters at least consider.
Right. Nice. So I mean, being ready. Go ahead.
Oh, so the other methods, like you said, there's nothing wrong with them, but you get the young firefighters are going to embrace that because they want to be huge and big, and now that's a cool for when you're in your 20s, in your 30s. Then you get your 40s, it's not so cool anymore, and you're nursing a bunch of injuries. This was the type of system that could actually rehabilitate, and you can still get stronger even as you're getting older. So
right.
That's a bright spot for me, and the way I went on just in the moment for this year, but for the whole span of the career and into retirement years. So that's the way I want to approach that. Full career, post-career, be healthy, be strong, be mobile.
Nice. So, all right, we're cutting in a little bit in and out, but we'll do the best we can, guys. Hang in with us. We got, internet's kind of acting up here. So,
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. So, okay. You're Battalion Chief, 29 years of experience as a firefighter, as an athlete. If you could rewind, go back 30 years.
30 years, okay.
What would you tell, a new firefighter fresh out of the academy? Like you say, like they want to look good, right? Because they're like 25 years old. But what would you tell a new firefighter fresh out of the academy when it comes to strength, building resilience to become a firefighter? What would you change if you went back 30 years ago?
I would absolutely focus on joint mobility, muscle flexibility, and getting stronger rather than getting bigger. And we know we can get some hypertrophy out of this, and that's cool. But I would definitely focus on the science behind the training and the whole system as a whole, not just muscle size and aesthetics, but functional, good quality. And I would tell that 20-year-old, you got to think long term. You got to protect your joints and your connective tissue, and continue to stay mobile. We have some training. We have some tight spots. We got to get your arm behind you or over you, behind you, and get in and out of spaces. If you're nursing an injury, or you have a chronic injury, knee injury, shoulder injury, it makes that stuff really hard. And when you get done with the drill or with the actual fire ground activity, you could have exacerbated the injury, which could lead to time off the job, surgeries, those types of things. I would say to a young firefighter, I said, I've got the thing you need to keep you strong, get you strong, keep you strong, keep your and give you longevity.
Nice. So let's shift gears just a little bit. So over 29 years service, you're helping firefighters get stronger, get better. Like, what are some projects you got going on? Like, what are some things you're doing in the future moving forward? How can people learn about fire bells? How can people learn about what you're doing?
The stuff we have going on right now, some of the guys got together, art and training team. They got a group of people, so I'm going to intermix the ground force method, because I'm also a ground force instructor. Ground force, and so are you, and we just got together in Utah, which was fun. going to intermingle. I'm going to call it ground. Hello, did I lose you? There we go. Going to call it ground and pound. The pound meaning LBs. You know, you're going to use some iron.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, but you like that as a jiu-jitsu guy. Hello. Okay, sorry. The ground force method, but still focus on the kettlebell and how those two work very well together, as you know. That's one of our upcoming. And selected, and they're getting a group together. Since I'm not at the academy anymore, I open up my school and I bring in the incoming cadets to make sure that they understand the proper mechanics of squatting and the difference between deadlifting, between the hinge and lifting properly in that form, push-ups and pull-ups, so that they can at least keep themselves healthy and give them some tensioning techniques so they can protect themselves when they're undergoing 8 weeks of rigorous training. So academy, and the biggest thing that people lack is that precise knowledge of movement on how to squat properly in a safe manner, how to hinge and pick things up in a deadlift manner, and proper pull-ups and some of the tensioning techniques are the principles of strength that we teach in the bodyweight course come into play for push-ups and pull-ups. So I can educate them so they have a fighting chance going in, and we do a few Sundays before they join me and before they start their program. So I do that on an ongoing basis. What else do we do? 12 weeks. We run that 3 times a year, and we get some amazing. Love about it so much. That's why I've just stuck with it. I've never seen anything change somebody so dramatically than the kettlebell, and I don't mean just get people off diabetes medications. They reverse their conditions. They move better, even though they're people who are aging, not moving well. They come in, they go through some stuff, and they're I'm going to do that contest again because it was one of the greatest things that ever happened to them in their recent life. And so it's just it's a cool thing to watch and be part of. We get some cool stories. So.
Yeah. So this course that you guys did, is this something that, let's say people aren't in Albuquerque, is there a way people can follow this online?
Not at this time. We don't have anything in place at this time. I hope to get that out where we can actually share what we're doing with. We do a live feed every now for. On a one-on-one basis, but nothing that Firebells as a company does yet in that fashion.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, we're getting ready to pretty much come to a close here.
What?
Yeah, man.
I'm excited. We're going together.
Yeah, so Zar and I, if you happen to, so Zar and I are going to be, Zar's leading the SFG1 in Seattle. Really quick, Zar, just to close that really quick, I'm pretty sure people are interested. You mentioned earlier, over your career with learning from Pablo, you've climbed the ranks, so to speak, right? Team leader, senior. Give people a little insight really quick. What are the duties of I'm sure as the master instructor with more responsibility, with more ranking, whether fire department or with StrongFirst, more responsibilities are required. What are some duties of a master SFG? What does a master instructor do?
Well, we annually, part of leadership, get together and we're able to offer our input in curriculum, things that we might want to take out. Different courses like on a daily. We also are able to recertify instructors in a video manner, long distance wise, or in person. but leading a whole cert course, being the head instructor, we make sure that our team leaders are on point. As you know, we have a session there to make sure we're all on the same page, and we're very quality oriented. So we spend time with our team leaders and make sure that the flow is going to go well. So we go over the agenda and make sure everybody knows. Then we check our assistants and make sure that their movements and techniques are on their duties for the 3 days, because there's a lot to be done. And we make sure that the overall feeling of the course is, there's something about going to it's not just a certification, it's an experience. And so that we got that made us love this thing so much, that made us want to be part of it. So company and this community. So it's our job to make sure that that experience is provided for the students who are going through it. And that's, you know, quality instruction, challenging, you know, breakout workouts, having fun, being challenged, moving safely, and always being safe. Safety is one of our pillars, and we operate from that. It's safety built into performance, which is one of the, you know, the great things is we just don't have that many injuries when we train this way. And I think that's one of our cornerstones. So, you know, just making sure that that everything runs smoothly for a course, and then we have several of those a year as a master. We go around and teach. So that's, you know, that's kind of at the master level what we're doing.
Nice. So is there still is the SFG that's coming up next weekend, is that already sold out? Is that closed? Can people still register for that?
Sold out.
Yeah. Well, in case you were going to try to come and maybe make a last minute decision, SFG is sold out. I think this may be the last one Zar is running for the year. Yep. So if you are prepping,
running one in England in October, but in the States, yes.
Right. Yeah. So if you're prepping or you're considering SFG in the future and you want to work with Zar, look for the schedule next year. I'm sure they'll be releasing the new dates that they'll be where they're going to be teaching at. So be sure to jump in on that, because these things, man, they sell out almost every time. They seem to sell out pretty quick. So be sure to jump in. Man, that's pretty much it, dude. Thanks, Zar. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. Thanks for sharing your story.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for your friendship. And, dude, I look forward to seeing you next weekend.
Yeah, we have a great time. It's going to be awesome.
All right, guys, we're out of here. We'll see you not next Friday, because I'll be in Seattle with Zar, but the following Friday we'll be back with Hardstyle Live. So that's pretty much it. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. Later.